There's some things that we have to rule out in terms of making this diagnosis. So even though you're going to see a slide in a moment that talks about some of these as OCD-related disorders in terms of how we understand them, you can't diagnose OCD when you have hair pulling disorder or trichotillomania, which will be renamed in DSM-5 as hair pulling disorder. Body dysmorphic disorder, and that's, you know why we're doing that, right? Why we're changing the name from trichotillomania to, actually they're called body-focused repetitive disorders in the DSM-5, one of which is hair pulling. What's the movement? Why is that being done?
It's not associated with meaning. I don't know, just a guess.
Okay, yeah, actually, not bad, but wrong. We're trying to get every diagnosis that can be used as a noun out of the book. So you can call somebody a trichotillomaniac. So if we rename it a body-focused repetitive disorder, you can't call somebody that as a noun. It's always an adjective to describe what they have. And all the other maniacs are out of the manual already. So this is one that's like really a leftover. Body dysmorphic disorder, intense focus on a perceived defect in some part of the body. Looks a lot like OCD, but is not, it has its own diagnosis. Obviously substance use disorder, hypochondriasis. Hypochondriasis is another disorder that we're going to change the name of. It's going to be called overwhelming health anxiety, because here again, you can call somebody a hypochondriac. And we don't want to label our patients in those kinds of ways. We want to describe the disorder they have. When we look at how overwhelming health anxiety works, it looks very much like OCD. Paraphilias are certainly different, and guilty ruminations and major depressive disorder. Okay, and then as I said, you can add the modifier in the diagnosis of specifying it as with or insight. Okay, let's take a look. These are the obsessive compulsive spectrum disorders. So we think of these as working very much like OCD, and the treatments that have emerged for each of these are quite similar to the treatment that we have for obsessive compulsive disorder. So in overwhelming health anxiety, we focus in on the behaviors and the worry that go with overwhelming health anxiety. What might be a compulsive behavior that a person with overwhelming health anxiety would be engaging in?
Checking doctor.com or whatever over and over
Right.
again.
Right, checking the internet with every symptom, going to too many doctors.
I have this client who just pushes wherever she thinks it hurts.
Checking,
Yeah.
pulse taking,
Yeah.
temperature taking, palpating glands all the time. Those are obsessional behaviors. And of course, they worry constantly about their health. So there's a great deal of worry behavior. And that makes it look like GAD or makes it look like obsessional only form of OCD. Self-mutilation disorder, cutters. You know, similar and different. But when we look at the effect of the cutting in terms of its effect on arousal, what have we found? What happens after people cut? Do you know about what happens biologically? They have a serotonin increase. So they actually, as a function of the cutting, feel better based on biology, on a biological factor. The thing about it is it creates a tremendous rebound effect. The person wants to cut again and again and again, and then it becomes dysfunctional. Not sexual, eating, or gambling problems. So I can't tell you how frequently, because I'm an OCD specialist, I get calls from overeaters, I get calls from gamblers, and even I get calls from alcoholics who think that the OCD problem is going to apply to them. Now, is there no application? Of course there's some application, but those things are thought of as so different, have their own models, that we do not include them in the OCD spectrum. And another one that is in the OCD spectrum is the self-excoriation. And self-excoriation are skin pickers. Skin pickers, people who eat the insides of their mouth, are again in the spectrum, because of the same mechanism that we